Hey, everybody. Apparently we've got... I swear, we just can't keep FaceTime together these days. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if my camera moved or what. Hope y'all's doing good. I'm doing alright today. I got a headache. That's why I titled this My Brain Hurts. I can't wait to get my glasses. The eye doctor said that was one thing that's probably causing lots of headaches. Because my eyes are terrible. And I worked last night, so I've been sleeping in the chair. I'm tired. Eyeballs hurt. Head hurts. Brain hurts. We got plenty of people here in the chat. We got Model 316, Lorenzo Sleestack, Ashen Jackal, Tonic Mole, Ezra's here, Brent, Dave. We've got the Needle Mover Society. Ichthus is here. So, glad you guys could join me. And, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. It's always a good day. It's beautiful outside here. It's colder than poop. But, man, it's a beautiful day. Came in this morning. Had just a little disappointment. I came in and Axel had been jumping on the door and knocked a bunch of stuff over. Knocked one of my guitars over. And I was like, why did you do this? Why did you knock my guitar over? And then I walked in the living room, and he had an accident all over the floor. So he was trying to get out to go use the bathroom, because he's a really good dog, and he doesn't like to use the bathroom in the house. I felt so bad. He was like over there, like, you know, he'd been upset about it all morning. He'd been really, he'd been my buddy today, just everywhere I'm at, and he's laying on me. And I felt so bad for him. Luckily, though, I've got some Shout OxyClean Pet cleaner stuff, and it took all the poop out of the carpet, which I hate carpet anyways. And this carpet in this house is like 20 years old, so it needs to go anyways. We'll be doing that sometime soon. We got Jeremy Turner in here. Him and Skinny are documenting harassment. So, yeah. Model 316 says 4 poop documented. I just want to take a minute and say I'm not going to mention a lot about it because this is his private business. But my friend Lorenzo has been under the weather. So if you all could please send your thoughts and prayers out to him. Also, I know Ashen Jackal's been sick as well. But, you know, I hope you guys feel better. And if, you know, you guys can send good vibes and keep them in your thoughts and prayers, please do that. You know, I'd appreciate that, and I know they would too. Oh, man, about to drive to work. Work is lame. I want to say I appreciate Skinny there. He's been helping me get Legends of the Lone Wolf put together. He's been working on some stuff for me. Dude is a really good guy. He's always got my back, and I appreciate that. Just want him to know that. Yeah. Oh. So, let's take a look at our comic books for today. Oh, trapped in the intergalactic beard zone there. Let's move it a little bit. Oop, there we go. Oh, we got Vicky in the chat. Hey, Vicky. Says, just saying hello, I'm at work, but I've missed you all week. Like, we got good people in the chat. You know, you guys are awesome. these are good people that have had my back, and they stand up for me when people try to crap on me. They're good friends. If I need anything, I can always say, "Hey, peoples," and they're there, and I appreciate these guys. I don't know if they know how much I appreciate them, but if I talk to you on Twitters and send you DMs and stuff like that, you're a pretty awesome person. I don't mean that like, if you message me and I don't get back to you, don't think nothing about it. My mind drifts and I work such weird schedules. But everybody that shows up here and I don't know, I just don't know how to say you guys are awesome, and it means a lot to me. I really like y'all. Okay, anyways, let's refresh this. Napalm Brothers at 12-12 with 85 backers, 35 days left. We hit that $1,500. We're going to get that ash can unlocked. I'm going to go ahead and look into maybe going ahead and getting this printed now if I've got the money, and getting it ready to go, because we want this thing to go. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. So definitely go check this out. You've still got time if you want to back before the troops here. Jeremy Turner says, "Is Doug trying to ask us out?" No, I don't. I'm sorry, Jeremy. We're really good friends, but I just don't like you that way. Now, you are a very attractive man, though, but I'm sorry. There's just no magic there. Let's see. If you get the For the Troops tier, Comic Book Hut's going to draw you a page of comic book art. He's going to match. He's going to match that. So that's something cool, and we appreciate him doing that. He's also doing it on Legends of Lone Wolf. So if you feel like backing either one of those, go check that out. Now, Tonic Mole, who's in the chat, he's a regular. He's a comic book people that I like. His book is at $565, 112%. Got 21 days left. I'm so glad to see this funded, but I know it can do more. It can definitely do more. So, if you haven't backed this one, and I'll go ahead and drop this link here. Go check this out. And he answered yesterday, which I could have looked, but I don't think. Well, you can get the digital edition for $5, or you can get a physical. And this is a 32 page book for $15 shipped. You'll get a physical copy. And the thing is, if he hits, I think he's got a stretch goal for $1,000, if I'm right, where he's going to have an ash can with this. It's not that far away from $1,000. It's totally doable. I'd like to see that done. So if you can, go back that book. It's a cool book. Let me drop the link in here. Go check it out at least, And he's got his promo up here, so let's watch this.
Hello, I'm Kira, fast food worker by day, superhero at night, and this is Saving the World.
Yeah, so Ezra in the chat says $700, so that's even better than what I was saying. So I mean, that is well worth it. Let's go down. Maybe I could. Yeah, it's $700. Look, $700. We hit our first stretch goal. It's so close. It's so close. So if you can share this out, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. Tonic is a really cool guy, and I know this book is going to be good. I can't wait to get my copy. Now, let's go look at Common America. And this is old Timothy Lamb's book. Him and Mark Pellegrini, two really good guys. $13,384 of their $2,000 goal. They absolutely destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it. Still got 21 days left. I think they're almost sold out of books. 603 backers. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. If these guys would have went like some of the guys that don't deliver on time and all this stuff, and sold their books for $35 a pop, they would have made a killing. But that's not the way these guys operate. These guys are building a genuine fan base and offering books at a fantastic price. So if you haven't checked this out, go check this out. Really cool book, really cool guys. Really glad to see them have this kind of success. And then we've got Eric Hawkins' book is coming out soon. The Zombieful World of Oz, book number 2, which I've not been dropping links to everything, but if I remember, I'd try. So here's the link to that. You go sign up for, go follow this, and when it gets ready to launch, it'll let you know. Be on top of the game. You know, Eric is an awesome artist. He's a really awesome guy. And he's a regular here in the chat. So he's a Duggalo or a space ninja, whichever one you want to call it. And he also he's also from Hawkins Park. So all those are good reasons to go check this out. Definitely go check that out. It's really cool. So today, it's Friday. We're all just chilling, having a good time. And I'm going to drop a link here in the chat. If I can figure out how to do it, because I don't use this thing as much as I should. If you want to come on and talk, just talk about whatever. Here's the Hangouts link. You can come pop in Hangouts, and we can just talk about whatever. If you don't want to, that's fine. I can ramble like usual. Something cool yesterday, I was talking about, I got that Game Boy case in the mail. Well, I destroyed my Game Boy, which Axel had already chewed on it, but I swapped it over. Now, the volume knob broke. I mean, it's still here, but it doesn't do anything. And I saw that's kind of a common problem. So they actually make a replacement for that, but I don't know if I even care much about fixing it. What else? Oh yeah, the brightness switch. I don't know if the thing moved. Like there's a silicone pad under it that touches the board. I don't know if it moved or what, but it's not working. This screen is old and it's kind of got some wear and fuzzy, and they make replacements, but I don't feel like spending like another $50 on this thing. This case was like $20, and it made the Game Boy like, look at that, it disrupts time and space, but it made the Game Boy look super cool. It's really nice. Now I've been carrying this around, and I've been playing it. I've been playing Final Fantasy on it. One cool thing is the original battery that was in it is still like really good. And see the screen there, the corners, it's got some white. It's just getting old and worn out. I did get a really cool glass case for it, or glass screen protector here instead of the plastic, and I broke it when I was trying to put it on, so it doesn't have that. But pretty much, I've got about $20 in this thing because my dad found it in the dump. So if you see any of these, you can see people selling these for like $10, sometimes $15. Pick one up, especially if it's one that is kind of beat and you want to rehouse it. Rehousing is easy unless you got big monkey hands. But the thing is, they make the bits. I got the screwdriver kit that came with it. Instead of using the screwdriver kit, just get the bits and use like power tools or something. You need 2 separate ones. That's another thing that was kind of stunk. But I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to get an EverDrive for it, where I can flash all the Game Boy games to it and play it. I've been playing Final Fantasy 1, and I got the Dawn of Souls. It's Final Fantasy 1 and 2, and it's like the remastered Final Fantasy. It's a little bit easier than the original version. So I've really been enjoying that. I took it to work this morning, and after I got all the paperwork done and was waiting for other staff to come in, I just sat and played it for a while. Dave said, what was that piece that fell out yesterday? I don't know, probably a screw or something. There was 10,000 screws with it, and I used a combination of the screws from the other Game Boy and the screws that came with this to put it back together. Some of the screws were higher quality, and some of them weren't. So a couple of them kind of stripped out, which was kind of stunk. But I didn't put it on here, but it's actually got, I don't know if these are made from like some leftover factory molds. It's got Game Boy molded into it, and it actually came with a Nintendo Repro sticker, which I don't know if you can see it. It's a little sticker right here you can put on, and it came with a sticker that goes on the back right here that tells what model Game Boy it is. But I liked being able to see the game through the case, so I just left it. Freddie Primo says those early Final Fantasy games are great. They are, especially the remaster. The original game, you had to grind so hard. It was ridiculous. That one, it's not as bad. If you grind on that one, you're just you can like just spec your guys out. You go in, you buy all the spells you need and all the armor, and you're set. It's still a little tough, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, Eric Hawkins says if I wasn't at work, I'd hop on. If I'm not busy tomorrow or Sunday and can stream for a little while, I'll send you the link, Eric, and you can get on and we can talk about your book. Talk about issue 1, and then we can talk about issue 2 and get people hyped up for that. Actually, might see if we can get old Tonic Mullen here too. We got Shabby in here. What's up, Shabby? He's working on a cover to Vestry right now. There's Matt Reese. Hey Reese, if you want to pop in, buddy, the link is there in the chat. I know you usually don't work Fridays. We're just talking about whatever. Been talking about my Game Boy and Final Fantasy. My favorite though is Chrono Trigger, which I was playing that a little bit yesterday. Ezra says once I get my new computer rig and headset, I'll pop in future streams. Cool. That might be what I start doing on Fridays. It's just dropping the link and just whoever wants to pop in, pop in. That'd be cool. It'd be cool. Shabby says working hard. I tell you guys, I'm really excited about working with Shabby and Pickles and getting Vestry out there. Shabby has been working his butt off. He's all time showing me new art, and him and Pickles is talking about ideas and stuff. And Vestry is going to be absolutely killer. So I'm really glad those guys asked me to work with them on that. Yeah, Freddie says Shabby works hard for the money. He works hard for the money. So hard for the money. Reese says I'm taking the buddy to work. Well, buddies need to work, so good on you. Good on you, Reese. Go work, buddy. Get a job. I still kind of got a headache. Like I said, I can't wait to get my glasses. Get rid of some of these headaches. I hate having headaches. It seems like I have them all the time now. I had somebody else talk to me about maybe publishing their book, running a campaign. So I'm real excited about that. It seems like a bunch of us are kind of teaming up, and that's what I like. We've got the Comics Underground, and then I've got Gravestone Press, and the Comics Underground is not. It's not a group. It's not a hashtag. It's not a community. It's just comic books. It's a bunch of people who kind of feel the same way about stuff. I was talking to a friend, and he's kind of afraid. And if you're listening, don't feel bad, and I don't want you to feel bad about it. I'm not gonna mention your name, but they was kind of afraid to put their stuff on there because they didn't want to be targeted as anti-CG or whatever. Which, if you're not CG, you're anti-CG by their standards. So that's just how it is. I'm not anti anybody. I don't have time to be silly. I just want to make friends and have good times. Matt Reese says I'm working today, which is stupid as well. It is stupid. Stop working, Matt. You're not supposed to work on Fridays. Shabby says, have you thought about my monocle idea? Well, Matt Reese says, of course it's a community. You just want it to be organic. Yeah, but it's not a community in the way that it's not a consumer thing. It's not an everybody thing. It's just I don't know. Eric Hogan says, I'm anti-poop. You can't be anti-poop because you have to poop sometime. You might not like to poop, but you can't be anti-poop. We got Matt C in here. That's another dude. I'm just going to call it Kyrie because I want to. Kyrie Book 2 will be coming out soon, and I believe Kyrie Book 1 is still available. So drop that link in there, Matt C. Drop that link. Dave says, what do you think about a heavy metal cover band where everyone's name is Matt and it's called Mattalica? Yeah, Mattalica. Vicky says, that Tonic Mo, I finally got the back saving the world. That's awesome, Vicky. That's awesome. I felt bad. In the past, I have promoted books and, been like, oh, people should back this. It's really cool. This guy's really cool. And then the guy turn around and completely bite me in the butt and be a turd. So hopefully that don't happen. So we got somebody here popping in. Let me fix my mind just quit working. I forgot how to.
Oh man,
I've
what's
lost
up, Doug?
it. Oh, there we go. There we go. What's going on?
What's up, Doug?
Not much. Just kind of chilling.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. On a Friday.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm off today, so that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah, today is the only day this week I'm off from work.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
It's
that's
lame.
Awesome. Oh man.
So what are you gonna get into today?
What am I into today? What I'm doing like this week per se, or
Just anything. Just whatever.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, this week has been pretty hectic with me, but I mean, in a good way, with opportunities and stuff. I'm trying to finish that fan art that I'm doing with Six to help promote Napalm Brothers. I don't know if you remember the sketch I sent you.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man, dude. It's like after that, then like I want to do all of the characters because they're so freaking awesome. And I'm trying to like do them one at a time, but then I'm like realizing it's like crap, it's like what if it's not well balanced how I even did it. So then I'm like it's like let me just start off from the drawing board again. And I looked at some cool comic covers. I found one with Rob Liefeld with
I love Liefeld.
with what was it? I think it was X Force. Yeah, with the X Force cover, and I'm like, bro, I was like, dude, this is perfect. So it's gonna be like a homage cover, but with all the Napalm Brother cast.
Cool. That
So
sounds awesome, man.
yeah, man, I'm so excited. I already got like 2 rough sketches in. Now I just gotta add the other 2, and then what else? And I got like a colorist job opportunity because the dude told me like the type of comic that he's working on is dark. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I showed him my samples and colors and everything. Like he told me like it's a little bit bright than the colors that their comic is because it's issue 2 of their book. So I'm like, I didn't even know. I reread it, and I even looked at the images. What that was saved under the name, like, oh, issue 2 of page 1 and 2, and I'm like, oh crap. So I should have asked him like, what was their last colorist, but I guess he just wants to try me out to see like my thought process with the colors.
Yeah, I
So
can't do anything like that. I can't color. I used to draw, but I haven't. That's been 20 years ago. I quit. I started playing guitar and quit drawing, and
really.
it just I don't know. I tried drawing some stuff a while back, and it just made me mad.
Why would it make you mad, dude? It's so much fun.
I don't know. It don't come as easy as it used to. It used to when I was young, man.
Mm-hmm.
I used to. I could sit. I could either look at somebody or look at a picture and draw.
Right.
No big deal. Now I can't do anything. It's like my hand doesn't want to do what my brain what I want it to.
Yeah, well, that comes with a lot of practice, dude. Trust me, it sucks. Like I understand your pain. It really sucks that you're just trying to translate what your brain is like. What can I say? Like you're training your brain to translate what your hand is trying to see inside your head. You're basically like your hand is your printer with
Yeah.
all these like printer challenges. Like your brain is the image of the picture and your hand is the printer in a way, in my analogy per se. So
Hey,
yeah, man.
I think you're about right there. So, but I'll just let everybody else do that, and
Exactly.
I'll stick to playing guitar and making up stories.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. And what else am I? Yeah, because this is gonna be. I'm super happy though. I'm pretty. What else? What else? Oh my god. Another one is I'm trying to reach out with this creator. He's another comic creator that I also follow on YouTube. I got on his show like maybe one time, but like he's really cool. He just added me as a mod to his channel as like because I always been hopping onto his streams a lot and talking with his people, so it was pretty dope.
Cool.
So he's gonna do a spin-off show with his fiance, and she's like they have like a long distance relationship, so now she's gonna be flying over to Canada to meet up with him, so like they can finally like tie the knot and get married. But
Not a
like,
dirty Canadian.
huh?
Said not a dirty Canadian. You're not Canadian, are you?
No, I'm not Canadian.
You
I'm the
better not be. I was
U.S.
gonna say I'm gonna kick you out of here. I'm kidding. I
Oh
love
my
Canadian.
god, dude, I freaking envy Canadians. It's like God, man. It's like they have these pool of talents over there, and I'm like, what? It's like I don't know. I guess since it's so cold, it's like you have no choice but to stay inside your freaking house. So I think that's another way of them being motivated to be creative. um, Yeah, Canada is like one of those places that I really want to go and check out, especially Ontario, Canada. Those are one of those places.
I don't really want to go to Canada, but I got a couple friends up there that I would like for them to just come here.
That's honest, like pretty much, dude. Like my personal goal is like all the creators that I freaking meet. Like let's say for you example is like, hey Doug, I have enough money to like fly out just to stay with you for 2 days. Is like I don't know. It's just one of those personal goals because I mean it's like at a point where like if I feel like like we're super close and we're super cool like at a point where like man like I wish we're neighbors type of thing like dude I would fly over and meet with you straight up.
Model 316 in the chat says, Doug Garrett, did you know it's Fursuit Friday? You take out that furry garbage and you get out of here, Model. Crazy Model. I would prefer Firearm Friday where
Fire
you know here
Friday.
shoot
Oh
guns.
man, what's your favorite firearm, dude?
Well, if I had to pick right now, it'd probably be the 1911.
I see.
Or the AK-47.
Oh my god, dude! Freaking like I had a friend who had an AK. But dude is like, it was my first time shooting. So like they have one AK where like it's kind of jacked up because like the way it kicks is like it's not really well stable. It's like it'll be at a point where like it kicks back and your freaking like shoulder freaking gets hit so freaking hard. And I'm like, holy crap. Again, as I said before, this is my first time going out for shooting, so it was not a pleasant experience.
Yeah,
So,
if you've never shot one, it can be a little shocking at first.
oh my god, dude, I was it was, dude, it was a lot to process. Like just the handgun, holy crap, man! It's like, dude, this is not. It's like I was used to shooting in Call of Duty, but now shooting an actual one with the recoil and everything. Like, oh my god, what's going on? I was not prepared for this. Oh man.
Yeah, it can be a little crazy.
Yeah, dude. Oh man.
Shabby says once I'm big enough, I'll just meet up all my mates in their local conventions.
Nice.
Dave says fired up Friday.
I don't know how to do fire. I can do jazz hands.
I would think I've been talking to some other people. We've been talking about meeting up and going to like a few of the big cons.
Oh, dude, that would be dope. I never even thought of that. That would be. You know what will be twice as awesome if you guys. Let's just say this: if you guys are gonna meet up at a convention, you might as well just I don't know, find a hotel room that you guys can both bunk together, and just split the money so that way it'll be even cheaper just to stay in the hotel.
I don't know if anybody wants to stay in a room with me because I snore really loud.
All right then, Doug. You have a whole room to yourself. Is that what you're trying to tell us? And that's fine.
Model 316 says no firearm ever intimidated me. I'll hip fire a Civil War cannon.
Oh damn! All right. I'll be going shooting with you then, with that much confidence.
We got Muttman. He says, "Yo, what up? Who you talking to here, Doug?"
Shoot,
this is Igthus. He's a regular in the chat there.
Yes, sir.
And actually, I dropped the link, so if anybody wants to, let me drop it again. If anybody wants to jump in, y'all's free to jump in. And
the only rule is you can't be boring.
You can't be boring, and you can't be a poop head.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll kick you.
Otherwise, Doug will kick you out of his house.
That's
and
right.
You'll feel the wrath of the cold. Colder than poop.
That's right. It's colder than poop outside.
Bro, I died laughing when you said that. I'm like, I swear, I don't know how would you even think of half of these things? Like, I need to write down and just put on my Twitter quotes and then tag you in on them because, dude, they are hysterical.
Matthew Reese says, "Do you know anyone who does electronics or 8-bit music?"
Oh shoot.
I've been dabbling in it just a little, but not a whole lot. I actually busted out my synthesizer last night.
Ew.
Was playing some synths. But like I said, it's not my first love. I'm not real good at it.
Gotcha.
Oh man.
Let me see. Let me know, Duck, if you can see my screen because it's showing me screen share. It's been a long time since I used Google.
Yeah, it
Google
was me.
Hangouts.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is one of the jobs that I'm coloring. Okay, this right here, I'm like, I don't know I don't know whether it's a desert. I don't know if it's grass. Like, not even like the line work is even complete. So it's like, it's just one of those. Those are like one of the least challenged what I ever think of as a colorist. This is my first time coloring, so I would never even think in a million years it would be a challenge just to figure out what's what.
I know, like the first time I hired a colorist,
Mm-hmm.
my notes were not very good, and he would all the time ask me, "Well, what do you want this to look like? And what do you want this to look like?" And
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, I need to put some more details into this stuff.
Oh, let me show you the fan art I was telling you about. Now I'm back to the drawing board and show me to this.
Looks like you use Clip Studio.
Heck yeah, dude. Clip
Yeah.
Studios will save your life.
Oh, that's
There's
cool,
Cooper. Right there. So this, I just only have 2 so far, but yeah, but God, where's my reference?
Well, that I know of, I think you might. There's just a handful of people that was doing any napalm fan art, so that's really cool, man.
Yeah, man. This is the one I was telling you about. It's like when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God! It's like, I don't care if you hate Rob Liefeld, you cannot deny his dynamic shots are phenomenal.
Dude, okay. A lot of people rag on Liefeld because of his anatomy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
exactly.
The dude's art is over the top. The characters are freaking huge, and they're always like you're saying, the dynamics are there. That's
Yeah,
what
dude.
comic book art is supposed to be to me.
Yeah.
Liefeld, just absolutely nailed it back in the day.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. It's just, where the heck's my pen? Where's my freaking pen? Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it's like they always rat on him because of his anatomy. It's like, okay, I want you to think in your scenario in Rob Liefeld's shoes. If you're hired in Marvel as a 19-year-old, which is very rare nowadays,
Yeah.
and they love your art style and how you make your dynamic poses. I mean, what's going to be the first thing that every young artist is going to make mistakes of? Anatomy. So, I mean, back then it's not. I mean,
I can't
comic
believe
books
that
weren't
they.
even like. It's like even comic books is like, it's like critiquing like how the body looks and everything. It was a very last thing would come in your mind. But yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Oh, that's
Doug.
fine. I was just saying, I'm surprised they ever hired him. But I knew Muttman in the chat. He's not a big Liefeld fan, and he
Oh
posted a
man, you
face
know
down
what?
there.
We need to kick Muttman then, because he's not. He can't be in this discussion. I'm gonna block him then.
Yeah,
Hold on.
he says Macho loves. I know Macho does. What's Macho's favorite character? Shatterstar.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a terrible character. But
Shatterstar.
I like
No.
Liefeld. My
Yeah.
favorite Liefeld stuff though is the stuff he done at Marvel before he went to Image.
Right. Ooh, yeah, definitely.
I think when he was at Marvel, I think him and Eric, Larson and Todd McFarlane, especially
Mhm.
Eric Larson. Though I'll absolutely love Eric Larson's Spider-Man stuff. I think
Hmm.
it's fantastic. I love the way he draws Spider-Man.
Right. Let me see. I don't know. I love Todd McFarlane's look of Spider-Man. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know. I
mean,
need to look at Eric Larson's. Let me look him up now, so that way everyone in the chat can glorify Eric Larson like you have.
Ezra says I prefer J. Scott Campbell and some
Yeah.
guy's name I can't read, and Joe Mad over Liefeld. Well, I mean, everybody's got people. I wouldn't
Oh
say
yeah.
that Liefeld is one of my favorite artists. Well,
Mm-hmm.
not like the top tier, but
Oh,
I
okay.
love
I see.
Liefeld's stuff. Oh,
Isn't Eric? Yeah, I see. It's not too. If you really think about it, it's not too different compared to like McFarlane and Eric. Because I mean, they did the same thing. Like how Spider-Man is he's very acrobatic.
yeah.
So I think that's why those two are always on Spider-Man's books.
Like
But yeah, dude, it's
sometimes you see Larson's and you can't tell if it's him or McFarlane until you
yeah,
see
dude,
Mary Jane. When you see Mary Jane, you always know that it's Larson when it's Larson.
for real.
Because he draws his women with big hair and stuff. See, like
Mm-hmm.
right there, that Mary Jane, you know that's
Mm-hmm.
Larson when you see it.
Yeah. Like there's a mix up too. Is like I think this is McFarlane.
Is it?
I don't know why it looks like McFarlane because look at the eyes; they're a little bit bigger.
But Jeremy Turner says Marvel took a huge hit when the Image founders all bailed. They really did.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Muttman says I wouldn't agree with Larson on anything except his views on Silver Age comic. He knew how to make heroic stories. Not sure what he's doing now. Yeah, man, Eric Larson's insane now.
Oh my
His
god.
his books actually were good up until 10 years ago, maybe. Uh, early Savage Dragon was so awesome. I never read it until like last year,
Mm.
and oh man, it was so good. It was so good. And now he's just making like weird porn stuff. Yeah, it's
You
so
know he's
weird.
still making Savage Dragon as we speak.
Yeah, but it's like porn stuff.
Really?
Yeah, man, it's
No way.
Savage Dragon. It's not even the same character. It's his son.
Yeah, it's his son that's taking over
And
the Savage
and
Dragon mantle.
yeah, in the books now they've got tons of random sex scenes where
Oh
him and
god.
his girlfriend like doing it, and it's like really really pornographic.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I can see why they're not in comic shops then.
Yeah. Muttman says Larson's Sinister Six Returns is perfect. I agree. Muttman also says Larson's Venom is my favorite. Venom, huge, powerful, and evil. Yeah, I agree. The dude was a fantastic artist back in the day and a good writer. He just lost his mind. Poor crazy
Yeah.
Phil. Probably did too much cocaine or something back when Image
No,
was
I
huge.
think I followed. They say like his house was was on fire, so he basically lost everything. I think he even had like a pet that died in the fire too. So like because of the fire, like it changed up his old art style. Because if you see his art, it's super clean. But once like the whole fire situation got into his life, is like I don't know, it just really messed him up big time with his art and everything. Like it became
Man,
more sketchy and stuff.
that's sad.
Yeah, man.
See, like the Savage Dragon that I read wasn't even the color stuff. It was just the line art stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
and it was so good. Shabby saying I better get into Savage Dragon. I read it on Comixology. They had like the first 2 or 3 collections, and it
Uh
was
huh.
just line art. Oh man, it blew my mind. I was like, why have I not ever read this before now?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's same thing with me, dude. I need to jump onto Savage Dragon because the art style is really nice, and I think I forgot who was the guy who reviewed Savage Dragon, but there was like he said like it's a good starting point just to make introduction. I think it was like Savage Dragon 3 is like how to make a good introduction with a a villain, the hero, and like the objection within the story and the flow. So I forgot what it was, but yeah, dude. Just seeing the art and stuff is just insane.
Oh, we've had a wild Reese appear.
Hey,
Oh, Wild Wreaths?
What's going on, buddy?
hey, not a whole lot, man. I dropped my pal off, and I decided, you know what? I've got a bit of a drive to do. I'm just going to stop in and say hello.
Well, hello.
Hello.
So I got to ask Ichthus.
What's up?
Why'd you pick the handle?
Why did I pick the handle?
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I'm trying to, like, think of, I just, because I thought, like, you know, Ichthus is such, like, an easy name that I chose, like, let me put a 5. At first, the I was going to be a number 1, but then I'm like, nah, it's too tacky. So then I thought of Deadmau5, that his, like, he used a 5 as an S, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to be edgy. I'm going to put an 5 in the end of my name. And also, you know, I was very active in church, so then I was like, I chose the name Ichthus. I even looked up the name and everything, and I was like, that's pretty dope. So,
Yeah.
So I really like the meaning behind it, so that's why I chose that name.
Yep. Yeah, that's a story that doesn't get told often enough, I think, about the acronym.
No, dude, it's crazy. Like, I would see the Jesus fish. That's the nickname of it, the Jesus fish. But I would never, ever would think, like, a freaking, like, the actual name of it behind it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that really, like, impacted me personally.
We were talking about,
that name.
We were talking earlier, I was in the chat, we were talking about, you know, the idea about communities and how they can be organic, or they can be forced, or they can be gate kept, or whatever. But you look at the whole story of the ichthus fish and how it was used during the time of the Romans. That's a whole different thing, man.
Yeah, no, dude, it's insane, like, how it's documented and everything. Like, I remember, like, when I told them my handle is, like, you know, it's like, what the heck is this, and, like, what's the history behind it? I'm like, dude, it's like, I think it was around the time, it was a post time, like, after Christ has, I think once he, you know, the church starting to grow, and the Romans are pretty much killing all the Christians in freaking Rome. So then that's when they use the ichthus to tell the difference, like, okay, who's part of the church and who is trying to, like, mess it up. Because even the freaking Romans were creating spies just to see, like, who was part of the church, just to freaking kill them, man. And I'm like, dude, that's insane. So
Well, and the wild thing too is you get to a big part of why it seems part of that started was, you know, that Nero and those guys, they needed someone to blame for their bad policy, and they're like, well, here are these weird cultists that nobody likes anyway. I mean, they keep handing out, like, clothes and food, but, you know, we don't like them, and they won't hail me as God. So let's you know, blame them and kill them.
Exactly, dude. Nuts. But yeah, man, I really liked it. It's just the only sucky part is, like, no one cannot pronounce my name. It's Itchy 5. I'm like, your English teachers are rolling over their graves right now because you cannot pronounce my name. If you say Ichthy, okay then. Like, there's literally one dude from the Quarterly fan edition, like, he was able to, like, pronounce it. He said Ichthy, and then he said 5, and I'm like, okay, at least this guy, like, he knows how to read. But oh my god, all of it started because of Tyler. Everything has started because of Tyler. He started the plague of the Itchy 5 plague.
Drawn Talk Tyler?
Yes, Drawn Talk Tyler.
Oh,
so,
yeah. He's got a good show, man. I need to reach out to him.
God, dude. Yeah, no, he has grown so much, man. He has grown so much, and I'm so proud of him. that I got to be part of his journey. So yeah, man, he's one of those good people. One of the good people that you should make connections with.
Yeah, he did the art for that zombie book that Wes Nodal did last summer.
Oh my
And
god, dude!
I had Wes on my show to talk about it, and I just kind of lost touch with him. But
yeah, no, dude, it's like yeah, just try to reconnect with him. Is like I'm a mod in his Discord, so like
oh, cool.
and yeah, so like I'm starting to see like the community really like talking, and like there's this one time where one of our Discord members was on Alterna because she was like the second person for the Alterna pitch, and like she like says like, oh, it's like I shout out Draw and Talk in a Discord because we were doing an anthology. So she shouted it out.
Cool.
She gave her pitch. She did a fantastic job, and everyone on the Discord was praising her. Like I was super proud of her too. So it's very awesome. It's like I even pitched that idea to Tyler to create a Discord. So yeah, man,
That's how
awesome.
Igthus ended up here in the dugcast chat.
Yeah,
because
dude.
Tyler
Yeah,
came
I
on.
saw the tweet from Tyler. Like he retweeted the dugcast. So I'm like, all right, let me check it out. Because anything that Tyler's in, I'm most definitely gonna jump into it. And I saw Doug,
Cool,
and my
cool.
God, man, Doug is one of those cool people, man.
So good people leads to other good people, and we all just start connecting. That
Hell yeah,
that
man.
natural community you were speaking of there, which I don't want to call it a community because the word's tainted now.
Well, and one of the things about this, the whole idea of community that I think we sometimes forget about. Like this is one of the things that like pissed me off so bad in 2018 when people were, the whole we have to keep the bad people out. And I was like, dude, if you keep harping on your common values, they'll exit themselves.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if it's all about the common values, then that's what people are rallying to. But instead it became about blanket identity and bald stupid loyalty and things that aren't real, and that's what.
Well, what's funny is all the people who were a part of that community have, like you said, they've all exited and started their own.
Yep. Boy, I was kind of talking about that with Captain Cummings last night after the show. We were talking about how like you look at like Tim and Tim Lim, Doug Ernst, and Mark Pellegrini, and the Rags guys, and they were friends before, and they're still friends now, and they're making stuff happen, and nobody telling them they couldn't hang out. Like they all do, like, yeah, we don't care about that. we're gonna hang out and be creative with the people we like.
Well, yeah, Buttman says, what's wrong with community? Nothing, but there's people that want to classify everybody as their community, and I don't want to be in their community.
I think the better word instead of community would be association.
Yeah.
Because, dude, like, you have no idea how angry would I see, like, these Indiegogo campaigns. And, I for sure have no, I, for one, have not done a campaign yet, so I would never know. But what irks me is, like, you start a campaign and I think for me, just thinking of stretch goals is the hard part, just to even think of, just to, like, budget-wise. And if you know the stretch goals for your campaign, then why haven't you, like, made, like, any post interviews or anything that you have major association with? And I know for a fact for comic creators, like, most of us are introverted, so it's hard for us to open up. But with social media, it's like a stepping stone just to make it so much easier for yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I just cannot stress this enough.
If I had to go face to face to promote my work to people, I wouldn't do anything because I hate talking to people one-on-one. You can't tell on here because this is the internet. Exactly. This is not real to me. I mean, it's real, and I have real conversations with these people in the chat, and I like you guys a lot, but I don't have to talk to you face to face.
Right.
And if I had to talk to you face to face, I wouldn't promote anything. I would go and hide in the corner and not speak to you. That's just how I am.
Well, and I think you're underselling yourself, Doug, because I think I get this feeling that if you were with us face to face, we already know each other, sort of. So it would be different than like, walking up to somebody on the floor of a convention,
Well, yeah, that's true.
So you'd be like, oh, hey, you look like that guy I talked to on the internet. Why don't you?
Hey, you're fatter in real life.
Oh my god.
It's true. I am.
You look skinnier from the head down, but the rest of you isn't matching how I thought of you to be. What was it? Oh my god, what was this freaking meme? Is like, I think it was like Instagram profile versus reality, and I'm like, oh god, yes. Yes. Oh man. But yeah, dude, it's something. I mean, if you're it's like, I know for a fact for comics, it's like, it just really much depends, because with me, like, I have a business mindset, so like, I want everyone to know my freaking book. So I'm not scared to like show my face or what's my mission statement, because dude, like, I've in my confines of the four walls for God knows how many hours trying to figure out what my story is, what's the comic going to be about, and all that fun stuff. And I'm not going to do it because I'm just scared and letting my own emotions rule over my life in that sort of way.
I just tell you, I hate going on other people's shows so bad to promote things.
Really, man?
Like I like going on on Reese's show. There's a few other people I like to go on with, but like some of these guys that just don't make you feel comfortable at all, and it's not like talking to somebody you know. It's like an interrogation almost, and I just don't like it.
Well, I think part of it is, I think some of the had to do with that whole, like I was talking about, that whole spirit of gatekeeping, that whole like, idea that, it's like, that stupid line, pick up an oar and don't, stop complaining, pick up an oar and row.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, listen, my complaining is rowing because you're being stupid. So part of my job, and this is, I maybe it's pretentious, but I really feel that like a part of an honest person's job is calling out nonsense and lies. Yeah. And if somebody is lying to try to manipulate people, you have to protect them, the stupid people, from being taken advantage of.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Muttman in the chat. He says we had a good time with Doug on our show. Muttman and Macho Dan were two of the first guys I ever really had a good time on their show, because they were the first guys to make me feel welcome and make me feel like, hey, let's all just be cool and have fun. And those guys, they're kind of guys that you can kind of look to as an example.
Mm-hmm.
They try to be nice to everybody. They just try to do good things. Sorry, I burped really loud there. Trying not to burp in the microphone.
It doesn't sound like you burp loud, dude. It sounds like you're gagging on something. I'm like, is he choking?
Yeah,
right now?
I was trying not to go just belch really loud into the microphone.
See, and I heard it the other way around. I thought you were just tearing up, like you're like, man, and Nacho Dan, I just love those guys.
If I talk about those guys, I'm trying not to laugh, but no, I'm sorry. Those two guys are like two of my favorite dudes on the planet. They don't even know. They don't even know. I mean, I'm telling them right now. I'm telling the Muttman right now, but they don't even know how much that I appreciate those two guys.
Yeah. Well, that was a rough time, man, for you guys. That was like, during the last party of the Lone Star campaign. I mean, the Lone Wolf campaign. You got put through the ringer, man. That wasn't fair.
Yeah, but it happens.
Oh yeah.
I'm just glad it happened to me and not somebody else.
Well, and that was just about the time that I found out about you. That from I think I saw you on one of Larry's streams, and then I saw you guys chatting on the Twitter, and that was kind of where I first came about it. And Lone Wolf sounded like a really cool concept, and I spent about half my growing up in Oklahoma. And my grandparents used to live in Tahlequah. I think I've told you this before, which was the head of the Cherokee Nation down there. So, I was kind of surrounded by Native American culture as a kid, and so when I heard the stuff you're talking about, I was like, dude, I got to read this comic. This sounds dope. And your price point was right in my budget, and so I became a fan. And then I was like, I got to know this guy as a person because this is an awesome thing.
You would be surprised how many people got mad about that price point.
Really?
Yeah, because I went on a show and I was told that the price was too low and I need to make the price higher. And it was because that people were picking up my book because it was so much cheaper than everything else being offered.
Well, here's the thing, right? That whoever said that is an idiot. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
This person wanted me to fail. All the advice they gave me was the worst advice I've ever had.
Yeah,
they're a pro. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah. So actually, that's one of the things that came up with talking on the interview I had with Cummings last night. We're looking at because he's doing his research paper right now on Frederick Wortham and his book Seduction of the Innocent and everything that went into that. And I had him on because my question is, I really don't buy the mainstream comic narrative that Frederick Wortham is the cause of all problems in American comics in the 20th century. I think he was a convenient scapegoat to cover up some really bad actors on behalf of the big publishers at the time. And it's a conspiracy theory of mine, but talking to Captain, I think I'm closer to the money than I even realized. Anyway, check it out. It's on my channel. Shameless pitch.
Will do.
Yeah, but it was real fun. He starts at the second hour with him on that. But anyway, with that, it was the one of the things we were talking about is that you look at the number of people buying comics decreasing in almost exact inverse ratio to the price, and as the price went up, the number of people reading went down, and that's almost, it's circumstantial, but it's notable, and that's what everybody keeps forgetting is you can't buy them. They're not impulse items anymore. They're just out there. And one of the things I hadn't realized that came up in Captain's research is that back in the 40s, comics were like children currency, like cigarettes in prison, where kids would like hire other kids to do jobs for them and pay them in comics.
That's nuts.
Yeah, because like they were everywhere, but not everyone could afford the nickel or whatever it was, and so they'd be just like. They're like, oh, hey, I need some help. My mom wants me to clean out the gutters. I'll give you a couple of comics if you help me out with that and stuff like that,
Right.
And people be like, oh, I don't really like Sensation Comics, but I'll trade you for your stack of detectives or whatever, And so that was it was a whole currency. And that was part of the reason that it became an issue as far as because the Congress actually got curious about it and everything is a whole deal. He's going to come back in May after he finishes up his report. We're going to have a follow up. So I'm real stoked about that.
Yeah, I'm stoked too. Sure.
Yeah,
I've been hearing him talk about it here and there. He was on with Tim Lim last week sometime and was talking some about it. So I didn't get to watch that last night because I had to go to work. So I'll check that out. I love stuff like that.
Dude, yeah. It was pretty crazy. Like the thing was, it was supposed to be Shabby on last night. And then he calls me up and he's like, I think I'm dying. I can't come on. And I was like, what? Oh, he's like, no, I'm real sorry about it. If I survive, I want to come back on. I'm like, what?
I mean, I'm sorry, not Shabby, Sixth.
6, yeah.
Oh, 6.
Yeah,
Oh
'cause
my
he-
gosh.
He said
dude.
something. He made a joke about having the coronavirus or something.
Yeah. So if Shabby, if you're in the chat, I'm sorry, not you. I do want to have you on sometime. I just haven't asked you yet, but yeah, I got the wrong guy on there. So yeah, Stig was supposed to come on, and I was just like, dude, you, because I've been looking forward to that for a long time, because like that's another thing. Like I don't buy some of the narratives, and one of the ones I don't buy is what we've been told about Vietnam, and I know that that Six's done his research, and I'm excited to have him on for that. But like he canceled, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. Well, Doug Ernst had asked me on Wednesday to interview him and Tim about Soul Finder. So I was on Doug's channel interviewing them about Soul Finder, and that was real cool. And then at the end of the show, Doug's like, "Tell everybody about your show, Matt." And I was like, "Okay." And so I'm like, I don't know who I'm having on as a guest for second hour because Six is sick, and he's just like, and in the chat, Captain was just like, "Oh, dude, we can come on," because I was gonna have him on in March, and he's like, "I can come on tomorrow," and I'm like, okay.
Oh shoot! All right.
So yeah, it was really awesome. So we bumped him up. So I do have another slot to fill for like the second week in March, but I got some time.
Nice.
You know what amazes me about Captain Cummings was remember back when he issued warnings about what was going on, what was going to happen, and nobody listened to him. They spun this whole narrative that he was just a crazy person and a huge jerk, and you couldn't trust him. He was a huge backstabber. And then you talk to the dude. The dude is the coolest guy on the planet.
Dude, yeah.
And so people need to stop buying into this stuff they're being told by YouTubers.
Well, and see, and that's here's the other thing that's crazy about this, right? We talked about it more in depth last night, so I'm going to give you the short version because I want you to watch my interview. But one of the things we talked about is that, that I really think, and I think there's some evidence to back this up, that part of the reason we have this anti-Wortham narrative in comics for the last 50 years, or at least 30 years, is because he was a convenient scapegoat for these shenanigans on behalf of the publishers who wanted to inch out other competition, right?
Yeah.
But like that's the go-to that comic pros have been doing since the 50s, right? They're like, spread a little rumor, spread a little slander around. Let's see where it sticks, and that's exactly what's going on the whole Twitter, YouTube, thing right now. With the whole, I'll just say it, with the Comicsgate crowd. And like with all of that's going on, it's the same kind of thing where we gotta look for who's there to destroy the little cottage industry that's made up of all these rich pros that have been, had all their insider trading for, decades and everything.
I honestly believe they've just given us a view into how it works at the Marvel and DC offices.
Yep.
Those guys go around backstabbing each other, talking crap about each other, trying to steal jobs from one another.
Well, and I figured that was happening anyway. I honestly thought that had been happening the minute they stopped hiring Chuck Dixon, right? And because the minute Dixon was on the outs, everybody who he brought up and he trained and everybody else, Gail Simone and all them, they were like, "Oh, he's a terrible person. I can't believe that he disagrees about homosexuality." And it's like, he's never talked about that in public. Why are you bringing it up?
Yeah,
because it has nothing to do with the stories. You're just looking for a reason to grandstand.
Well, and that's how they move up. They kick these people out. They talk crap about them. So and so doesn't want to work with them anymore because everybody's talking about them.
And I think there were a few people that kind of kept that at bay for a while, because they I think honestly, I think Danny O'Neill was one of those guys because I think he failed a lot in the 70s, right? Like the whole Green Lantern, Green Arrow story, it was like critically lauded, but it was a financial bomb. Like that's what nobody talks about. Like they almost lost their shirt over his politicizing of Green Arrow.
Yeah. Wow.
And people don't talk about that, but that was like, you know, the DC implosion happened for a reason. It wasn't just that. There was a lot of contributing factors, but the circulation numbers on Green Lantern, Green Arrow were low. Because of a lot of that kind of, probably because of a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, the data's kind of scant on it, but to be perfectly honest, because of the way distribution was done and everything. But he came back after he got the editorship after he came back from Marvel and came back over to DC, and he was a different guy from all accounts, where he was still like, you know, the bleeding heart liberal guy, but like he wasn't letting that get into the comics. He didn't let that affect the stories, and you know, he had everybody from anarchists to socialists working on Batman, and everyone got along really well, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's a funny thing too, because I was listening to like the interview that Comic the Hut was on with George Alexopoulos, and you just
I'm about halfway through that.
Dude, you just hit like the nail in the coffin. Is like right now, like maybe a decade or so. I mean, this is documented, so there's gonna be someone who's gonna be dedicated just to like open up this topic. Is like, why has Comicsgate became like something that exists, but at the same time is like, it's like how can I say, like it's backtracking to what they were saying, like, oh, to help and support like the little guys that, you know, are being outshined by all the big, you know, the big corporate big twos of like Marvel and DC, are even like now the ones that are quote unquote mainstream, like Dark Horse and Image Comics. And I'm like,
yeah. I honestly think that like part of the deal is like I don't think it's going to last that much longer. I think we're going to see. I think
it's slowly staggering away as we speak.
I think it's even faster than that. I mean, you look at how much like Common America, right?
Mhm.
Like that campaign,
Oh
right?
my God, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It like is defying the curve, right?
Mhm.
So like it was tracking to you know, get probably like in the first day or two, they're looking at about $7,000 or so sales, you know, by some estimates. And it's their first campaign. They're selling out of merchandise. It's already going to printing. You know, it's it's already going to printing.
That's nuts.
For the Kickstarter, because the label that does that oversees the printing and fulfillment, they have so many orders, more orders than they expected to from the Kickstarter, that they've actually decided to do 2 fulfillments. So there's going to be 1 fulfillment for Kickstarter and a second fulfillment for Indiegogo.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure I was supposed to say that part. I just realized I didn't clear that with Tim first.
When Tim listens to this now, he's gonna be mad at you.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just realized that Tim, that wasn't when I was that wasn't when I was talking to him about it. That was later. He mentioned it to me. I really hope that I didn't ruin anything out there, Tim. If you hear this.
Well, if I was you, I would just look out for a herd of bunnies coming after me.
Oh my God, that's it. USAGI is gonna come and take me down.
That's
Oh,
right.
man.
I'm terrified of that rabbit. You don't even know.
They'll find you dead, and there'll be bunny tracks all around your body.
Oh my God.
There'll be a carrot sticking out of your eyeball.
He's gonna make angry tweets about you too.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
That's really awkward, but I gotta go now. So I've used up my time, and I end with this thing that I may have said something I wasn't supposed
drop
to.
the nuke.
It's all right. Tim won't kill you. He'll forgive you. He's a good person.
I know. Oh, jeez, though. Anyway,
man. Mark might kill you.
Mark might kill me. Anyway.
Oh man. Wow.
Well, thanks for dropping in, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and keep it up, guys. We'll catch you later, though.
All right, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
Okay.
Take it easy,
Bye.
dude. Oh man. Wow. That's a pretty epic episode, man. I don't know what to tell you.
So Muttman says, do you guys like the term anti-CG? Do you feel like that's a fair description of ex-CGers? anybody at this point, anybody who is not CG has been called anti-CG.
Yeah.
And I think that's completely and utterly ridiculous. I did
Yeah.
like an hour stream where I talked about it. I'm not anti anybody.
Yeah, you just confirmed that too. It's like it's just stupid. But
It is.
you know.
It is. It's ignorant. The only group of people I'm anti is I'm anti-war campaign.
Oh my god.
Anybody who
Yeah.
will support a group of people who sexually harass women and make pornographic images of people that don't agree with them, they have no right to even exist. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm from the old school where if somebody was running around my town talking bad about me and posting pictures around town with dildos on me, I'd probably find them and beat the snot out of them.
Yeah.
And these guys feel empowered because they're hiding behind anonymous names on the internet.
Oh, not only that, dude, but also in their keyboards. You know, the bigger their keyboard, the louder the clicks.
The keyboard warriors.
I mean, with me, dude, it's like for I don't know. It's like to me for a term to even call yourself anti-CG is if you literally just spend your entire day getting screenshots of all these conversations, video clips, all of that time that you have spent and energy, then to me you are anti-CG. But if you're like the comic book hut, I believe I don't think he is considered somewhat of anti-CG. I just feel like he's the dude that he's gonna make sure and put you in your place, especially for the customers. Hell, I for sure know if the hut helps me out with my campaign, and if I show up late, he will let me know, like, hey, dude, it's like you're like 2 months late with your book, like what's going on?
And see, like the hut won't call out late people as long as they're giving updates. Because
Exactly.
Legends of the Lone Wolf is late, but I've been giving updates every month. Keeping the backers updated. Same thing like I was talking about yesterday with Macho Dan and Muttman. Those guys give so many updates. They're constantly showing progress. Same with the Sportman people. I have no problems with that. The only times I ever have a problem is when people are lying about why their book is late, trying to blame it on somebody, or getting mad and calling people Nazis over it. That kind of stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Muttman says, me and Macho try to be good to everyone. We want everyone to enjoy our comics regardless of your affiliations, beliefs. That's been my whole stance the whole time. But the thing is, I had people come after me because I was good to somebody that they didn't agree with. I had John De La Rose back my book, and because I wouldn't denounce John because he was my customer, I got railroaded by War Campaign, which led to all kind of people railroading me, and it's bullcrap. It's complete and utter bullcrap, and that shouldn't happen to anybody. I've standing on the same principles I've always stood on. And if you want to be a piece of garbage and come at me, like I said, I don't go around throwing poop at anybody. If you're doing stupid stuff, you go do stupid stuff over here. But once you throw poop on me, I will throw poop back. Mm-hmm. I don't like not having fun and having to carry on with a bunch of people. I just like having a good time, which you see my show almost every day. It's complete and utter nonsense most of the time. That's what I like to do,
Yeah, no, of course, dude. I'm a regular, so I know. I don't need you don't need to explain yourself to me. There's only people that will later on watch is like, oh my god, he's so anti-CG. And then the freaking recommendations pop up. I need to see
I know.
I need to see this. Oh.
I went back and looked at my video somebody commented on the other day, and in the recommendations, it had a bunch of Comics Gate videos. And I thought that was hilarious. I was like,
I'm not kidding you, dude. That's what happened to me too. Is like after I clicked on your video, all this CG videos pop up. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's like, why am I seeing? Oh my god, it's like
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. These freaking recommendations on YouTube is nuts.
Yeah, Shabby says the only label I accept is independent artist, please, and no other labels on this guy. That's me. I've just been using the term underground comics because honestly, it kind of bothers me that a bunch of people want to be CG and they keep using indie comics. Indie comics and
So,
Comic Gate aren't the same thing.
mm.
And
Can you go a little bit more deeper into that? Because that's another thing too. Whenever I hear you on the stream, is like, you good? I don't want you to die on me now. Just ask me this question.
I'm not gonna
Otherwise,
die.
we'll never know the answer.
I'm gonna mute my microphone for just a second and cough
go
really
ahead, dude.
hard.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but
So my question is like, I think just for everyone's like thoughts, just to recollect, like why do you call yourself an underground creator, like underground creator instead of just indie creator? Like what are the difference between those two? Just for lack of better words.
Well, Tonic Mole, me and him were talking, and he made some posts, and I kind of agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
Independent, like a lot of these guys, independent comics. Yeah. That's like independent of pretty much the big two of Marvel, DC. Or you want to be like Image or something like that. And he used the term underground because we're not on that same level. We're not independent enough to be, like a big thing. It's more on the punk rock ground level, do it yourself kind of thing. That's where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I have no big aspirations. I don't think I'll ever work for Marvel or DC. I don't want to work in Hollywood. I didn't make Lone Wolf so that some Hollywood guy would buy it and fly me out to Hollywood to write the script. That's just not my thing. So, and I don't want enemies. I'm not doing anything to make enemies.
Right.
And if anything, like this whole show's about hanging out with my friends, making new friends. Like because Tyler came on my show, now I talk to you.
Yep.
I mean,
exactly.
To me, that's what this is all about. I've got a bunch of friends in DM groups, just people who all feel the same way. I've got, some of them intersect, some of them don't. Mm-hmm. But there's so many of us that all feel the same. We don't want this affiliation to a group, but we are a group at the same time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Matt C says the dugcast is always great, but this is one of the best in a long while. Got me thinking about lots. Thank you guys. Well, we're just trying to be honest.
Yeah, bro. For me, dude, is like I will be the most honest person I will ever be, because unfortunately, truth does not sell. It honestly does not, and I think that's another thing too. A rapper who is literally from the underground is like now part of the mainstream. I've seen him on the YouTube trends called Todd McDonald. I don't know if you ever hear his raps or anything like that.
I've seen him on like some YouTube videos, but I hadn't paid any attention.
Oh my god, dudes! Like this dude is like he would hit your soul so hard. It's like he doesn't even want to be labeled as a hip hop artist. Let's just say it like that. Like he's literally from the underground, and then he just finally, crawled up into the mainstream. So I mean, that's how I feel for like underground comic creators. Like, you just sell yourself to like maybe the truth or a story that not a lot of people have heard of, but since you've grown yourself as a brand, as well as associations, because that's what I'm trying to do for myself. I mean, I'm creating like within my plan for 2020 is like my plan is just to make short story comics, because like I can start making a comic that's maybe 20 pages long, go to Indiegogo and then start the campaign, and then hopefully I will get funded and I can start issue 2. But honestly, if I do not have the association, and if I do not have the people that would host shows like what you do, Doug, and Tyler for Draw and Talk, dude, it's like, even for my name, it's like half the people that follow me was all because of Tyler and the Discord. Is like, again, it's all about association and how you present yourself for the people. Yeah, dudes. I love the Drawing Talk community and the Discord, dude. It's like there's a lot of passionate people there.
I don't do Discord, or I would go check out. I hate Discord so bad. I'm almost.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't figured out if a boomer is somebody who can't use technology or refuses to adapt to technology. Because I might be a boomer because I just refuse. It's like, get on here and you can do all this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like that. It's just more of a general sense. A boomer is someone that, says something that is like boomer is literally from Generation X, I believe. It's literally after millennials because
it's pre-Generation X. It's like baby boomers is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know they're after millennials because they're the ones who thought of the term boomer, and pretty much they're like, yeah, well, tell us something that we don't know. Thank you for progressing society for us, even though we already know that. And pretty much, it's just crazy how like the culture works, man. It literally is cool. I mean, there's even two split cultures. There's culture that we live, and then there's internet culture, i.e.,
it's so weird.
It's nuts.
I feel like a complete and utter alien on the internet anymore. Just I feel like there is no culture on the internet. I feel like it's just trash people with no morals and just garbage.
Yeah, dude.
Like if the internet was a place, it would be Detroit. No offense,
Detroit.
Oh
shoot, okay.
but you're a nasty, terrible place.
Yeah.
Muttman in the chat says Underground Comics sounds cooler. Underground Comics equals Garage Band. That's exactly right. That's kind of where I'm at there on that. Dave says, was TMNT indie or underground? I would think of it being underground because
it legit is underground, dude. I mean,
dude, that book was such a huge influence on me. I remember I found a second or third pressing at a comic book store, and I bought it. It's off size. It's not even your standard comic book size. It's black and white, and it just completely like grabbed me. And originally, Lone Wolf was supposed to be black and white. I wanted it to be black and white. I wanted it to be like Ninja Turtles. I was like, this is what I wanted. And that's one reason we did the black and white version. We only ended up doing color because everybody wants modern stuff. They want it to be a competition between you and Marvel and DC and stuff.
Of course.
I like the black and white. I'm just a big fan of the black and white. Jeremy Turner says, fine, Doug. I'll take Lone Wolf to Hollywood. We'll split it 90-10. 90 for me, of course.
Potential.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. And then for some reason, Dave says Norm Macdonald. Yeah, it was obviously Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald. Old McDonald.
Norm Macdonald had a farm.
Oh my god, I never heard that song in such a long time, dude. Oh my god, flashbacks. What else? Yeah, I would consider Kevin Eastman like underground. I mean, dude, he didn't even. He's like one of the few comic book artists I've seen that still kept his art style. Everybody else
everybody else has tried to progress and change.
Yes, exactly.
And
like
you see Kevin Eastman, it's Kevin Eastman. It's always been the same.
Kevin Eastman's, dude, it's like well, actually they technically did. What I'm saying is like I want one variant cover that's literally black and white because I just want to see the line art with freaking Kevin Eastman's work, dude.
I've got Kevin Eastman's line art tattooed on my leg.
No freaking way, dude. You might as well share that to the chat, dude.
I shared it a while back. It must have been a show that you didn't see.
Oh my god.
But
dude.
yeah, I was such a huge fan of and this was before I even did my own comic book.
Oh wow.
I got a couple tattoos, and I told the guy who done my tattoos, I said what I wanted was the original cover. And the cover, it's got a lot of shadows and stuff on it. And he said, well, I found this piece here. He goes, Melter says, I can't hear you guys. I'm sorry, Melter. Do something about it.
I'm wearing my headphones, so that way you guys could hear me better, but I'll move closer to my freaking computer. Ugh.
But the guy that did my tattoos, he was in the stuff.
Right.
Melter said his computer was muted. That's why he couldn't.
Oh my god! You know
You
what?
boomer! You're a boomer, Melter.
Freaking boomer! You know what? I moved my tablet just to get to my computer. Now I gotta
That's
move my
funny.
tablet again.
That's
Man,
so funny.
That is funny. Holy crap! It's a
yeah,
good thing I screen shared. Because oh my goodness, the awkwardness.
The guy that did my tattoos, he's like, I found this other piece. He goes, it's like a sketch he did. It wasn't in the first book, but it was like the first real Ninja Turtles where they looked like the real Ninja Turtles.
Right.
And so he put that on my leg, so I have Ninja Turtles on my leg forever now.
Nice.
I'm a nerd. I've got a bunch of punk rock tattoos because I'm stupid. And,
oh, okay. Do you have God, what was another punk rocker? Do you have? Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot this band. Sum 41. Do you have a tattoo with?
No, I've got like an old school punk rock tattoo.
Oh, okay.
I've got a Misfits tattoo and a Black Flag tattoo.
Oh shoot! All right, we're going that hardcore old school.
If I could go back, I probably wouldn't have got any tattoos. It was a weird time in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Things happen sometimes, and you just hit this weird spot, and things were weird. And I was like, I'm going to get some tattoos.
Yeah, with me, dude, is like, I don't know, it's like now I want to get like, not a tattoo, nothing extreme, but like a piercing. And my parents, I cannot say this enough. My parents are super conservative because like just the idea of me telling my mom is like, oh, I'm thinking of getting a piercing, just only in the left ear, right? My mom looked at me. Let me switch over to like my freaking camera so that way you guys can see. Stop screen share. Let me see. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
All right. The face my mom gave me. It was like this. Yeah. It's like it was just total silence, and I would just want to break the ice. It's like, are you okay, Mom? You're joking, right? It's like, and I just walked away within that moment. So then the next day, like while I was at my job, like I'm a landscaper, so of course it's like a truck full of dudes and so much testosterone going nuts around there. My mom calls me, and I'm like, "Hello," like you were kidding about that, right? About the whole like piercing thing and everything. I'm like, oh God, it's like by the time like I'll finally leave home and get out of the nest, I can actually get a piercing. And I told my mom like, yeah, like the Mutt Man.
Hey, what up?
The legend
up,
himself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Loud and clear, Mutt Man.
Oh,
the
cool.
Stream just got extreme now.
Extreme.
Now, you've never done anything stupid like we were talking about, have you?
I don't know what you were talking about. What were you talking
You
about?
missed that. We were talking about piercings and tattoos and how stupid they are.
No comment. No comment
No
on that.
comment. Oh man.
Yeah. I had a dumb phase too. I paid stupid tax many times.
Yeah, me too. I think it's just a part of life. You do stupid things.
Yeah, everybody does it. How you guys doing? I just want to jump off for a few minutes because I thought the conversation was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can keep on talking about whatever you're talking about, but I'll jump in a second. I'm just drawing a page right now.
Gotcha. I'm coloring a page, so I'm not that cool like you are, Mutt Man.
It's nice to meet you, Ickby.
It's nice to finally meet you too, dude. It's like, oh man, it's like one of these days just to talk to either you or Macho Man is like now I can scratch off from my bucket list for comic creators bucket list. I already got Tyler. Now I'm on Doug.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to you on Doug's show.
Yeah.
So
well, we're the easy ones to talk to, man. Me and Macho are the ones who we don't take ourselves too seriously. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to talk to me because I'm a big dummy just like everybody else.
You are on the biggest dummy show right now.
What do you say? What is it you say about this show? It always cracks me up.
I don't know. I'll talk about being the stupidest show on the YouTube most of the time.
Oh man, no, it's great. It's great. I like Theo Thursday. That's one of my favorites.
Oh my god.
With
I'm
the
so
kids.
And the pudding pops. I love that.
Theo.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I'm trying to get these pages done. You know, that's the stage I'm in right now with Hero. I'm trying to get freaking done.
I've been seeing a lot of them. I like what I see.
Me too.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm putting down ink as fast as I can. I've got all kinds of life stuff going on too, which is slowing me down. But I'm hitting it every moment that I can. Just trying to stay rocking, you know.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of good colors coming back right now from Eugen. He's knocking it out. Did you see that landscape thing he did for me?
Yeah.
Where
I saw
with
that.
the team. Yeah.
It was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I feel like he went up a level right there.
He's pretty good. I really like his colors.
Yeah. How's it going on the Lone Wolf Anthology?
We've been waiting for one set of artwork for like forever.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
And
Okay.
Like one team or just one guy?
one guy. He's got a
Yeah.
couple pages that he's supposed to turn in. So
Yeah.
we're putting the book together, and we'll see if he makes it or not. I had to just kind of lay down a deadline and say, hey man, it's got to come in, or it's just gonna have to miss the boat.
Yeah, dude. You got to be the bad guy sometimes.
Oh, it's terrible too, and that's why I hate being the boss.
No,
I really do.
Don't just think like that. Don't think of yourself as the bad guy per se, because Razor Ramon isn't in this whole situation. But you got to think like this, dude. It's like if it's your baby, you want your baby to be taken care of by anyone that is being associated with it. So you have to, unfortunately, pull out the whip, because not a lot of people will have the same passion as you do. Because right now with me, like I'm a landscaper, so I barely have time to even just do art, period. The only time I ever have time is like on the weekend, but it's like I make sure like I'm in good communications, like this piece that I'm doing, just coloring it. Like, dude, it's like I just feel bad just not getting it done, period.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure like I get this done today.
Yeah.
So
And I understand, we're all real life people. We have real life things going on. We all have day jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand things happen, but when everybody else is done and you've had months and months and months, at some point I have to cut you off.
Exactly.
And
yeah, no, it's sort of the sad, like in my professional world, I have to do that too. Like there's a certain amount of time you can give to each creative project, and then that's it. If you're not done, you got to hand in what you got, and we'll pass it over to somebody else to get it finished, because this thing has to go out. It's got to get printed. It's got to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's just the cold reality.
Yeah.
But really, our audience has been amazing. They've been very patient, and I think what you said is very true. Like if you just keep the updates coming, you just let people know where you are, let people see artwork coming from you, and even the little stuff. Like that's one thing I would tell anybody because this is my first campaign, so I would tell anybody after this, I would say, if it's your first campaign, just make sure that you share everything, even little stuff. Like here's a panel that got done today. Here's a sketch card that got done today. The patches came in. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just let your people that are following you see what's happening and be transparent as you can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
So the I'm hoping that the next Lone Wolf anthology, me and Macho can be a part of.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I think I'm going to retool things to where it works a little differently.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas, and what my idea is working with different teams to do small ash cans,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
once all the ash cans are done, we release the collection. But I'm gonna
Right.
see how that works out. You know, maybe that way, when we run the ash cans, the team can make the money right there off the book, because it's not going to cost much to print ash cans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when we do the collection, you know, everybody can split it, or we can just do like we did on this book. Just make the nicest book we can, you know. But it'd be nice to make a little bit of money to so the teams could make money and have some fun doing it.
Yeah. Like we were on the other anthology before that one, which was what was it called? Tales from Beyond the Gate. Bless you. We were on Tales from Beyond the Gate group, and that was a fun little thing to work on. It did not get funded. They wanted 10 grand to get it going. And it didn't reach that. I think it reached like 8,000, but it didn't reach the 10. But it was great to just kind of like start that process. Like we have an 8-page story ready to go. It's in the cans. I think that's probably going to end up being an ash can for our for maybe one of our next campaigns.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Lone Wolf, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that Macho's talked to you about that story he's got. He's got a good story.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I
Yeah,
liked it because it was a 70s story.
Yeah, in
Oh,
Vegas.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea, man. Like I want to do it because it's. Is it okay if I kind of just give a little synopsis of what
Oh,
it
man,
is?
go ahead.
Go.
It's so like Lone Wolf is in the 70s in Vegas, and he's hunting down a brood of vampires
Oh shoot. Okay.
in Vegas, right? But they're like big wigs, they're like big gangsters in Vegas, and they keep everybody. They keep like a steady supply of blood by using a witch that they have captured. They capture this witch, and they make her use a hex to keep certain people coming into this one location so they can keep feeding.
I see.
That's
pretty
wicked.
cool.
And so yeah, so Lone Wolf comes into town. He sort of like has to do a little investigative work in the casino, figures out what's going down, and then he busts up the vampire group
In the 70s.
Yeah, man, with bell bottoms and sequences and rhinestones. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
That's pretty dope. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think that'd make a good like maybe 8-pager, maybe
Yeah.
10-pager.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
cool.
That
See,
would
and
be
there's
cool.
so many people that's hit me up with some really cool ideas, and so I'm like, if we can get this, the thing I've learned is if I'm going to do another one of these, it needs to launch after everybody's done.
Yeah.
Let everybody get their stuff done, and whatever's done, we advertise that as, hey, we got this many pages, we're going to do it, and then if other people get done as it goes along, we can make that stretch goals or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like I think with Lone Wolf issue 2, we're going to finish it before we ever launch anything. And,
The artwork that I'm seeing for that looks really cool, man.
Jameson is such a great artist.
I like his style.
Yeah, he's I don't know how to describe it. But I really like it. His faces, his expressions are my favorite. I introduced a new character in Lone Wolf issue 2, and we just call him Preacher. He's an old grizzled cowboy preacher, and think Clint Eastwood in what's that movie?
High Plains Drifter.
No, the one where those people have that little mine in town, and they're trying to run them out.
Oh yeah. He basically plays like an angel or something, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And
Yeah.
so this character pretty much is is like almost that character. He's just an old grizzled, tough as nails dude, but he's a preacher. And him and Lone Wolf team up, and I'm gonna have to leave that like that's gonna be something. I'm gonna do flashbacks and have just whole stories about Preacher and Lone Wolf. It's gonna be great.
Nice.
But Jameson totally nailed that dude's look, and the expressions he puts on that dude's face are just amazing. I can't wait for you guys to see this stuff. I'd show it to you, but I don't know where it is right now.
Yeah, what I've noticed about Jameson's art is that he's good at expression, and he's really good at physical expression. Like, he knows how to swing a body around. He knows how to make, he knows how to show like physical effort.
Yeah.
Because a lot of artists don't have that ability to kind of cartoon really well, to animate really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can draw a cool figure or a good pinup, but then when it comes to doing sequential art, it's hard for them to do you know, like somebody turning quickly or punching or kicking or like someone getting hit by something, you know. And I've noticed that he's got a great ability for that.
Yeah, he really does, because it's almost like you were saying, it's almost animated when you read through his panels. You can see the movement. Your mind kind of takes over and animates the movements in your mind. And I mean, the dude, he's just a young dude. And it's like, I tell him all the time, I was like, man, you're really talented. You're doing a really good job.
Well, that's good. Keep encouraging him, man. And, you know, like, get as much out of him as you can. Like, I don't know if he's, like, what his personal situation is, but of course, the older you get, the more responsibilities you have to deal with, and it takes away from your ability to do art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell these guys, like, if you're young, especially if you're, like, not married, no kids, just draw as much as you possibly can, make as many new characters as you possibly can, write as many short stories as, you know, just do as much work as possible, because you want to get all that content out as quickly as you can, because you are going to get married probably eventually. You probably are going to have kids eventually, most people. And at that point, you know, it becomes really difficult to get things done.
Yeah, unless you're me, you just kind of live with a dog and you don't really do anything.
Yeah. Well, there's always the exception to every rule.
That's why I'm so insane. You guys watch me. You just watch me just delve into insanity every day, and you laugh and think it's a big joke.
Do you think a woman could handle you? Like,
No.
Oh man,
this wouldn't work out, huh?
No, I'm insane. I mean, you guys see me and you laugh, but I'm insane.
I like your brand of insanity, though.
yeah, right. Me too, man. It's like, I don't know. Your brand of insanity just brings all the other insane people here.
Well,
I mean, what was it like, bro? You even attract animals like Ichthys. Like, the Italian name for it is fish. So I'm like, I'm home.
Yeah, speaking of animals, on our show, we drilled Doug with many questions about how he would handle himself with animal encounters. It was one of the funniest shows we did. I thought it was great.
Yeah, see, you know, I fight hand to hand, and now I got me a big old knife.
Oh my gosh!
You live out here in the woods, you gotta be prepared.
Oh my god.
I'd say you're more than prepared.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if
It's
any
like,
animal attacks me,
every
I'll just
time
fall on it.
every time like I would see you like pull out the knife, I'm thinking of that Paul Hogan movie. Is like, you call that a knife?
Yeah.
This is a knife.
I used to
And,
there
like,
for a long time when I first got it. Every time I'd go to open a box, I'd be like, "This is a knife." I stopped doing that though. It became a habit, and I caught myself doing it. I was like, "No, I gotta stop."
That's some boomer humor right there, man.
Nah, you can't say boomer hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, I do too, man. That was the stuff back in the day.
It sure was.
Man, I'm Hero is one of the books I've been looking forward to ever since you guys first came out with the idea. I really, really can't wait to get that book in my hands.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be, worth the wait. I mean, I'm definitely putting as much effort as I can into it. You know, like I'll tell you this, there has been nothing in my life that I have. Let me rephrase that. There hasn't been anything creatively, a creative project that I've done that has taken more out of me. Like doing a 48-page comic, I just didn't really understand what it was going to take. You know, like I have a lot more empathy for people who do this.
Yeah.
You know, like I've always done drawings and stuff like that, and do little short things or pin-ups or something. But when you're putting a story together from scratch and you're doing everything, you're doing all the marketing up front, you're doing all the promo images, you're doing all of the organizing, you know, you're doing, and that doesn't even include the drawing, getting it colored, the inking, you know, and then even the pre-press stuff and, you know, getting it printed, working with printers and all that. I mean, it is just massive. It's a massive undertaking, and I had undervalued it, and now I don't. I definitely have been humbled by the process, and it definitely makes you think. You know, like if you're a person who's always dreamed of doing it, like when you do it, and you get to the end of your process, you really question, like, do I want to do this again?
Yeah.
How much do I love this? You know.
Well, that's when you learn. It's like maybe I need to get somebody else to do some of this.
Yeah, I think you're right.
While I handle. See, like, that's why people like Six came to me and he's like, "Will you help me do this?" I'm like, you know, this part of it I can do. I can get your book printed. I can format. I can do it whatever you need me to do that way.
Awesome.
But you know, I can't draw anything, and I didn't have to write a story. And I love to write. That's not, you know,
Yeah.
it's a completely different animal. So like,
No, I get it. I get it, man. I know exactly what you're saying. Like you can love all of it, but some of it you're like eventually you've got to get somebody else to help you with. That's where all these fields of professionalism come into play. That's why there are letterers.
yeah.
Oh
You know,
my God,
if lettering was
yeah.
easy and didn't take any time, you know, everybody would do it. But because it's difficult and it's an art form within itself, you know, you want to pay somebody who does it well to do it for you.
Yeah.
Same with everything. Inking. I was thinking about maybe just doing pencils on the next one and getting an inker. You know.
Yeah. Well, see, I would like to. I would almost do that, like with just so Jameson could get more done. But the dudes have. I don't think anybody. I think it would detract from his art if somebody else inked it, or it wouldn't be the same if he inked somebody else's art because
Yeah.
he's that good. It would get us, you know, more books in quicker.
Yeah.
But I think with him, it's worth it to do that. But like some of these guys on the anthology, I don't think they realize how much work goes into the book after they give me the completed artwork.
Oh, they don't. There's so many of these guys who've come out recently. You know, like over the last couple of years, and they've never really had the experiences before. People just like me, I'm exactly that. You know, you come into the situation and you think you know, you've done things similar to it. You think you could do it, and you're very confident. And you always, you know, have criticisms for other people who don't do it as well as you think they ought to. But then you just realize, like, man, this is hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way because I was just literally doing I'm again like for this year like I want to do like short stories so that way like I have the confidence to at least to do like a 20 plus page story, at least 20 pages, the standard. And dude, just doing just one page, it takes such commitment. Cause for my first short story, like I'm doing the panel layouts, like oh my god, what is it? Mr. Miracle, the Tom King one.
Yeah.
All the 9 panel layouts.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I heard like total silence and like, oh, no. I'm out. I got booted. It's like, nope. Yeah, so like for my short story, like I'm doing like the Tom King, Mr. Miracle type of layout because I love the 9-panel layout and so much sequential art. Is like, oh man, it's like I'm gonna do it just to try it because literally the short stories I'm gonna be doing is just literally warm ups or just to teach myself sequential art. I mean, literally, it's just you just looking at pictures and let the viewer depict what the story is going on. Just minimum dialogue. The second one that I really, really want to do, the second story I really want to do, another short story is pretty much like, heavy metal type of deal. It's just a dude just jumps into another dimension, and everything that has to do with heavy metal and everything is like, oh my god. I just can't wait to jump into that one. But right now, I'm more dedicated to the first story. So I just want to get that one done and just to get out of the way. I mean, it's literally short. It's literally like what? Literally like 3 pages. So
Yeah.
See, that's what's
just
killing
that
me.
simple.
That's what's killing me. I've got a whole script I've been sitting on for a year and a half for Psychotron, but I can't do anything because I'm waiting for. I've got to get Legends out of the way. I've got to get it printed and shipped.
Yeah.
And I can't. I'm not one of these guys. I can't start another project without finishing one.
Exactly.
I've got, all my concentration has to be on this one. But like a lot of these guys, they think once they give me the art, oh well, I can print it immediately. And half of them probably not formatted correctly, and everything else. And like I said earlier, and I appreciate him. He's not here now, but he was here earlier. Skinny's been helping me make some pages and do some formatting and stuff like that. And because I'm going to have 100 and something pages that's all going to have to start being gone through right now. So I'm kind of stressed out about that. I've been so stressed out about this book, you guys don't even know. I've yelled at people, like behind the scenes. I've yelled at people, got mad. Me and Skinny got into it, and I told Skinny off, and I told Six off about something one time, but they understand. They're cool guys. And you guys probably was like, oh, I don't see Doug get mad. Doug gets mad sometimes. And you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I'm seeing a little green on you, Doug. Are you okay?
I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
Yeah. No, it's frustrating. It's a business. It's a small business.
Yeah. Most definitely. I could totally relate, dude.
Yeah, you gotta, it'll cause you some stress, and it'll not only that, it'll push your relationships,
Yeah. And I don't want to talk bad about anybody, and I don't mean this bad in a bad way, but like once everybody got their story done, they didn't want to promote the book. They just kind of went off to do something else, and it's like I can promote it and it'll make so much, but it's just my crowd. If everybody promoted it like they did their own projects, it could have been huge. So
well, that's something I've noticed about a lot of the creatives in this arena is that they want to be able to do the work, but they do not want to do the marketing. They don't care about that. Don't want to deal with it. Don't want to do it. So I find that very interesting. Like me and Macho, I think are a little bit unique in that way, because we don't mind hustling the work. We don't mind getting on programs and talking about it and all that kind of stuff. When it's that season, now when that's over, Billy Tucci said it best. When we were talking to them, he said when the marketing department is open, the art department is not going.
Nice. That's a good point.
And then that's the way I feel too. Like when I'm marketing, it's really difficult to be creative because you're on that thing all the time. Like you're on Twitter all the time, Facebook. You're on your email list. You're trying to get people excited just about the concept of what it is, because you can't show them something you don't have.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you're just trying to do your best to help them understand how cool the concept is using what little content you have on it. And then when it comes down to like actually doing the work, you have to close down the marketing department pretty much. Like people don't hear, this is kind of rare to me jumping on a live stream because most of the time I'm really busy at night working and just trying to like get stuff done.
Yeah, it's hard, and that's one reason I started doing day streams every day. I work midnight. I'll go in at midnight and work till 8, and most of the time I come home and I'm asleep from 6 or 7 till about 11 o'clock before I go to work. So I can't jump on any live streams.
Yeah.
Used to I could, and every once in a while, if it's at the right time on my day off, I can do it. But I'm like, I'm just going to have to start doing this myself. Maybe I get people come and look at me be stupid while I talk about my comic book. Mm-hmm. And
you were talking earlier. You were talking about bad advice, and I think that some of that stuff is some of the worst advice that's been given out. Like you shouldn't start a book unless you have a certain amount of followers.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like
weird. Why?
I was told a lot of that stuff by a lot of people that I would consider to have lots of experience. Mm-hmm. And I have not found that to be the truth. Like I started out with like 300 followers on Twitter.
Mm. Oh, wow.
I just jumped in. We just went for it, and we built up a huge following of people.
Yeah.
Over the process of a successful campaign.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. The more I started talking about my ideas and started showing the artwork that was coming in, the more people jumped on, the more of a following I had.
Yeah.
If I'd have waited to try to build a following with nothing, I never would have created a book,
Yeah, part of why people follow you is because you're creating a book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And another thing I found out about this marketplace is that it is pretty incestuous in the sense that most of the people, or not most, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a high percentage of people that are watching you and listening to you that are creators themselves.
Yeah.
So the type of interest they have is more or less an interest to watch how you do it and learn from you. Just like I was watching a lot of people in 2017, 2018 to see how they were doing things and so that I could do it too. And that's why I was following them. That's why I was watching their shows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like, but where I think the indie scene is problematic is it's problematic in drawing in the big group of comics buyers that are out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, because the older I get, the more I think that indie is way cooler than mainstream.
Well, one thing, and I know a lot of people do not like Kickstarter, but I don't believe half the stuff I've been told about Kickstarter because I've been looking into it recently.
You've had success, right?
Well, I just threw the book on there, didn't really promote it, and we sold 20, 25 copies on Kickstarter without really pushing it,
Oh, okay.
And but there is there's a huge group of indie comics fans over there that just look through the comic things for things that catches their eye.
Yeah.
That's one thing that Tim Lim was telling me, was that there were so many people reaching out to him saying, "Hey, I've never seen your work before. Is this your first book?" And they've done several books.
Yeah.
They just saw that and it caught their eye. So if I would recommend anything is use every avenue to get out there.
Yeah, because what I've heard is the Kickstarter, it's not the platforms themselves have followed, right? It's not like hey, I'm an indie fan, and so I'm going to look for indie books in different locations where they are. It's more like, hey, I'm a Kickstarter fan, and I go to Kickstarter to find out what's cool and new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I found that interesting. I've heard that, and I find that interesting. It makes me want to check that audience out a little bit more, because definitely we looked at both platforms early on, and just because of the kind of bells and whistles that Indiegogo has, especially the in-demand store,
Yeah.
that was an easy decision to make on which platform to use.
Yeah.
But it sounds like we could probably take our overs and we could go over to Kickstarter
Yeah, definitely.
and do another.
Yeah. I mean-
We've got Edwin Boyette in the chat, and
Oh, what up?
Edwin.
he dropped a Reddit link. It says, "Creators, please use that link you did. I made it specifically for people to share out their books with readers." Then he also says, "I am engaging with the Kickstarter audience heavily. People get caught up in the gatekeepers of Kickstarter. The fans and comic buyers on Kickstarter like a variety of things." That's one thing he was talking about. There is just a huge variety of genres that sell big on Kickstarter. I mean, there's a little bit of everything, so you never know what might catch somebody's eye. Like you guys might put Hero on there, and it might just go explode through the roof. People's like, "Hey, I like 80s action, sci-fi based stuff."
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's what's cool about it. I mean, that happens a little bit on Indiegogo. People just surf, and find things. But I know it's really huge on Kickstarter.
Well, we might try that out. I mean, like you said, if nothing else, just throw it up there, see what happens. Do a little bit of promoting once the book is made.
No, once the book is done, I'm going to drive to your house and pick mine up in person.
Hey, just give me fair warning, because
Oh
yeah.
no.
I got to warn the kid. There's a black bear coming to the house.
Oh my god. With a space beard.
He lives in space. He's coming to the house.
That's right.
He wants to pick up his comic book in person. Don't look him directly in the eye.
He'll open his beard and the black hole will suck you in his beard.
You
You'll
don't wanna-
never come out.
Exactly. You can't look into the infinity beard, because if you do that, you'll get sucked into space, and nobody wants that. So don't look at it.
That's exactly right. The infinity beard. I think I'm going to create my own comic now about me.
Let me do a little bit of art for that. That's
There
Yeah,
you go.
right. Me too.
It'll just be a bunch of short stories about the infinity beard.
Oh man.
Edwin says, at the moment, the comics buying audience on Kickstarter is 3 times the size of Indiegogo.
Oh man.
Yeah,
That's
I
something.
feel like another thing too, because I wasn't a big fan with Indiegogo because of one simple thing that's a disadvantage for a consumer, and I'm still surprised Indiegogo still does not have this one thing. And the one thing that Indiegogo does not have that Kickstarter has is a mobile app.
Yeah, they need to.
Dude, they need to jump on that because I bet you 1 to 10. That's the one thing that I did not like about Indiegogo is they don't have a mobile app that's easy. Because again, if I'm at my job and if I'm on the computer, I am not gonna go to Indiegogo and search through all that. My boss is gonna yell at me. So, it's like, what's the last thing he's gonna do? Oh, he's on his phone. It's like he knows immediately, like, okay, like next 10 or 15 minutes, I gotta say something to him. But other than that, I mean, I'm just still surprised that Indiegogo is not doing any mobile apps, because especially now with this whole comics thing growing, it's like, they need to
I'd say we'll see something here before long. In the grand scheme of things, I prefer to use Indiegogo over Kickstarter, especially running a campaign.
Yeah.
I feel like it's easier on Indiegogo. I'm so used to it. Like when I went to set up Six's campaign for him, it's just like bam, 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 bam. That's my 3rd campaign that I've set up. I'm still lost on Kickstarter with the Legends of the Lone Wolf one. I mean, I found out I can send updates and stuff on there, but I don't like, you're supposed to send out a thing at the end and get people's addresses and all this crap, and I don't like that. I like how Indiegogo compiles a whole list, and I can just move it over to my shipping program and just start shipping. It just makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Kickstarter. I used to check out Kickstarter. Like I was definitely one of those customers. Back in 2000, I don't know, 11, 12, whenever they were really getting started. When I found out that there was crowdfunded comics going on, I was interested immediately, and so I would check out stuff. And I've had a couple of comics that I've backed on there. So I, from a personal experience, before I even knew about Indiegogo, I was down with crowdfunding comics on Kickstarter, and so I think probably just they've had a longer time to build up their audience infrastructure, in that way, and probably people have always been used to it, so it becomes sort of second nature for them to do it, to check it that way.
I never backed any comics on there, but there were several bands that I liked, like Five Iron Frenzy that Doug Naples done artwork for.
Yeah.
One of their last albums was crowdfunded on there, and I bought that. And the Aquabats did a crowdfunder last year and so that
I love the Aquabats, man.
Dude, the Aquabats is so great. They're
like
so
I don't
great.
care if my kids like them or not. I love them.
See, I used to listen to them back in high school, and then it blew my mind that they had a TV show, and I was like, I got to show this to my nephews. And then they love it. So I mean, it's great.
Yeah, my kids, they're not really into it, but I'm like, come on, let's watch the Aquabats. It's great. Come on, guys.
Bro, I'm going to do that with my freaking kids, just watching Power Rangers. I'm like, look, before we're going to start anything, we're going to watch the best one that saved the franchise in space. So, what was it? I got to meet Christopher Kamen Lee at Florida SuperCon. The most chillest dude ever. Like, I even talked to him while he was eating his pizza. It's like,
I'm surprised you didn't get karate chopped. It's like, come on, dude, I'm eating my pizza.
It's like, well, I don't know, man. I was geeking out. I felt like time itself just went back. Like, I felt like I was 5 again.
Yeah.
Like, he never aged. To me, he didn't never age. I mean, if I show you a picture of him, it was like, ugh. But to me, like, he looked the same than he was like 20 years ago. Like, that's how I felt when I met him. It's like, oh man. So
if
yeah,
I meet
dude,
people now that I liked when I was a kid, they just look really old, and it makes me sad.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how the world circles. I mean, when you were a kid, you never would think it's like, oh man, the people I love would grow old. Nope.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's killed me, man, is like musicians that I grew up listening to. Like my parents had tapes and stuff of, like Tom Petty died a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
David Bowie, stuff like that. I was
Holy
like,
crap!
It was rough. I was like, I can't believe that happened. Looks like Muttman had an important phone call and had to go. So I just want to say, if he watches this later, that I appreciate him stopping by. I love Muttman and Macho Dan.
Yeah, man. Those two are legends for the underground community. Oh man.
Now Edwin in the chat, he's saying not to make this about CG, but a problem they will have to contend with. Many of the fans want to make books, but there's not really enough audience right now to support more than about 10 books a year. Support at a level of 50,000 plus. Yeah, well, you can kind of see that those books are kind of dying down. You can't build an industry on year-long waits and 6-hour cry streams. I'm not trying to be rude to people, but there's so many smaller guys. There's so many bigger guys doing things better that there's no reason. If you want to support good comic books, you can find them wherever you want. Doug Naples is him and Brian Polito are two of the biggest guys out there. They're absolutely fantastic people, and nobody's going to beat those guys. If you're going to spend your money, you're going to spend money on one of those guys.
Most definitely, man.
And there's plenty of smaller guys that's already proved themselves, around the CG area. Most of them have left CG at this point, but they've already proved themselves being competent enough to release good books in a timely manner. That I just don't see their whole scheme there of waiting 3 years for a crappy book and making $75,000 but still printing it in China. I just don't see that.
Right.
It's all right, man. It's all right. I think
it's all good, man. We love you.
Yeah.
Especially me, though.
We love you. Me. We love you long time,
man. I'm very competitive to show my love.
But I think it's about time to wrap the show up.
Yes, sir.
I've been streaming for 2 hours and 17 minutes. This is
Whoop whoop.
the longest dugcast ever. But I
Oh,
want to
man.
appreciate you for stopping by, Ixus.
Hey, man, thanks for the invite.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a new thing on Fridays, and we'll start dropping the link and getting people in here, and
Awesome.
so we can talk about comic books and Power Rangers.
Oh, you can't do this to me now. On this Friday?
No, but man,
These
feel
type of
free.
things have to be planned out ahead, bro. You can't do this to me now. Not that with that type of tease.
Well, you definitely you're welcome back anytime, man.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it.
Had a good time talking to you.
Me too.
So we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. I hope y'all have a good day. It's a beautiful Friday. Have
Yes,
a
sir.
good weekend. I'll be streaming sometime tomorrow. I'm shooting finger guns right now.
Me too.
Yeah, finger guns.
Finger guns.
So we'll see yous all later. Bye.
Bye.